Guess I'm stuck.
Look at you. You have a different costume for like every hour.
This was just for you. That's why I brought it.
That's for me.
Yes.
My Dead Space 2 shirt is awesomer. Yes, it is. It has more stuff in it.
I got Dead Space 3 coming out.
Okay, I think it's about time to start, isn't it?
Yay.
Awesome. Yep, totally. So I'm Colleen Clinkenbeard. Hi. I'm a voice actress / ADR director / scriptwriter / line producer for Funimation. You probably know me as Riza Hawkeye in Rose Thomas and Fullmetal Alchemist. I also directed half that series with McFarland. I also play Cassandra in the new Dragon Age animated full length. And I play Luffy in One Piece, and Yuko in Holic, and Gohan in Dragonball Z Kai, as well as Android 18.
Yes.
And Claire in Kitty Grade, Niece in Bakano, Marie in Soul Leader, Esther in Trinity Blood, and all the rest that are in your little thing that you can look me up at.
Out of all the ones you listed, who's your favorite?
Monkey D. Luffy is actually my favorite character so far. I think it might be because he's so long running that I've just had a really long time to get into his character. And so I no longer worry about being in voice. Now I just get to enjoy him, which is pretty awesome. I directed Fullmetal Alchemist along with Mike McFarland. I directed some of Kodacha and Holic and Moonphase, Kenichi. More recently I directed Fractal and Panty and Stocking. And I have one coming out that I can't talk about yet, but it's my favorite series ever, and I'm really excited about it. And other than that, I will just take questions and we'll do it that way. How about that? Yes.
Do you voice anyone in Kodacha?
I do. I play Mama in Kodacha.
Is there any way by chance that they'll probably finish with Kenichi? Because I know
If it hasn't come out yet, the chances are it's not going to, because my guess is that nobody was buying it. The only way that we wouldn't come out with the next part of a show is if it's not selling enough to make it financially worthwhile. So if you guys buy a lot of them, then we get the next step.
You should see my collection.
Good. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah, I bought one. Thank you.
Anybody else?
How's the reaction to Fairy Tail so far? I myself love the show.
The reaction is great, actually. It's gotten a really good reception, and it's selling enough that I feel pretty confident about the rest of the series. Like I don't know, I can't tell you anything from Funimation, but I will say that it is well enough received that I feel confident we'll get the next.
You played roles like Yuko from Holic, and I'm not I was wondering what could recognize who I am.
Are you're not Himawari? You're the what's her name? The fairy.
Yes.
What was her name?
Ame Watashi.
Oh right, yeah, no wonder I didn't remember it. That's a long name. Yeah. Oh, she was darling, wasn't she? I love her too. Yeah.
I know you said you did voiceovers for Kai. I actually haven't seen Kai yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm fixing to get the new ones because they said it's awesome, you know, with the original.
Yeah, you have to go
Japanese
to
score
a really open mind because we did change voices and they changed back to being more like the original Japanese. Like that was the whole intention.
That's the whole reason I actually wanted.
Yeah.
But did you do any voices for original Z?
I was in the original world, but I don't think in Z. I played Zanya, who she's not in Z. I don't think. I think she's in Dragonball GT. I played Zanya and Column. And Zanya was that little tiny alien woman with long hair.
And you did a voice for young Goku, but only in Curse of Blood Rubies.
Right. Mm-hmm. I'll be playing young Goku in anything else that comes out, but not the original DBZ.
Okay.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about Kitty Grey?
Kitty Grey? I loved Kitty Grey. That was my first show, actually. When I first got into the business, Laura Bailey's my best friend, and she actually brought me up to the studio to watch her record, which was basically her way of getting me an audition. And that got me an audition with not Chris Bevins, Mike McFarland for Case Closed. And when I auditioned for Rachel in Case Closed, that audition actually got me the part of a Claire in Kitty Grade. And so that was the first large role that I ever played. And it is definitely near and dear to my heart. I was obsessed with it for a while. I took notes. I was very diligent. I wanted this to continue. And at episode 16, Justin Cook was promoted to producer from director of the show, so I took over directing at episode 16. So it all happened with Kitty Grade. That was my start in writing too. That was my start in acting, directing, and writing.
You just mentioned Case Closed. That was a big anime for me. I liked it. Why? Why?
It was one of those shows that was so popular in Japan that they bought it without really questioning whether it was going to be popular over here. They didn't really look to see what the market would be for it. And we just don't have a market for that because it's about kids. So it's sort of child-centric, and adults don't glom onto that over here. But it's so adult-themed with decapitations and everything that we can't show it to kids. And they just don't have those strictures in Japan. So that's why it was so popular over there. But I wish with all my heart that it had really sold here. That would have been great. It was also kind of expensive because they expected it to do so much better. So if they pay a lot for it, then they need to sell that many more to make the money back.
It's like they're still going to Japan, like what, 5, 6
They're still going.
They're still going in Japan, yes.
16,
no,
11 years.
In Japan is still going. They're on like they're in the thousands now.
Case Closed and One Piece are the really long running shows over there, and I just hope that One Piece stays as popular as it is right now in America because I would love to keep that going. I really, really don't want it to go the way of Case Closed.
I'm probably fixing to start collecting One Piece.
Good, we appreciate it.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch what you said. What did you say your role was in Panty and Stocking?
I directed the series, and then I also play Scanty.
Okay, thank you.
You played Luffy, so my question is, the time skip. Is there any difference between the voices there? Because my brother really doesn't like the idea of the time skip.
Of the time, he doesn't like the idea of the
He doesn't like that whole idea of that. That's one of the reasons why he stopped watching Naruto, and he's actually stopped watching One Piece because of the time skip, because he feels that story needs to be told.
My guess is that they'll go back and tell stories from within that story, but sometimes a show needs revitalization, you know? It needs something to shift drastically, and in order to do that, you either have to be melodramatic about the way you choose to shift it within the series and continue on the same timeline, or you have to jump a little bit, and I mean, any number of shows do that. And I feel like it allows them to bring a lot of story into it all at once, rather than you having to wait for every new character to come up or every dramatic event to unfold. It allows you to have it all at once and really just shock you into it, which is a lot of fun.
They did the time skip in the comic book also. So.
I don't know how much of that is going to happen. How soon? When we first came back to recording our first series, our first arc was the Foxy arc. So the debut back episodes were my favorite episodes to record of the entire series.
I was just wondering if you hit the time skip in the series.
We haven't hit it yet.
Will there be a difference between the two voices? Will you have to?
That'll be up to Mike. That'll be up to his director.
I would think Luffy's grown up. You need a little bit of a deeper voice at least.
Yeah, they didn't change voice actors, and his voice is already really low for a girl to play, so it would be difficult. But I will say that because he's so much more serious after the time skip, there's a difference there. There's so much of a difference in voice just based on that it would probably sound like there's a difference in voice.
Who, either voice actor or director, has been your favorite person to work with?
I have so many, it's kind of hard to answer. Monica Rial is one of my closest friends in the world, and I think she's amazing and so fun to work with. And I knew her as an actor before I knew her as a friend, and she's so easy to direct and very eager to please. She wants to get whatever the director needs, and she's always cheerful. She doesn't bring her emotional baggage into the booth, and that's really hard for actors to not. If you're down outside of the booth, to not be down while you're in the booth, and we need the energy to be the same no matter what. So I think she's extremely valuable to Funimation, and Lucy Christian is my other friend. Lucy's amazing. She has such range.
She Honeyson.
She, yeah.
You were talking about like differences in markets for case closed, for example. What criteria would you think like an anime would need in order to be successful in America? Like what do you feel, because you're involved in the industry,
Right.
would be the things that would qualify and make it successful here?
There's a difference between levels of success. In order to be successful as an anime with the anime crowd, it just needs to maintain truth to the Japanese version. We need to not change it so much that people can't recognize it. In order to be popular with a mass audience, to really make money, honestly, it has to be the exact opposite of that. It has to be Americanized. It has to have enough pop culture. It has to have names that people can recognize and have removed any part of Japanese culture that Americans can't attach to in order for it to be mass market.
Like rice ball becoming donuts.
Right, that kind of thing. Yeah, honestly. And it's sad that those are so at odds with each other, because it means that anytime we get a big show which has the opportunity to be mass market, it will be more difficult for us to please an anime audience. And that's one of the reasons that we've started doing 2 different versions. We do the broadcast version and the DVD version. So you guys get the uncut, this cigarette is not a lollipop version. Just
Mr. Popo is in
DVD
blue.
to get.
Mr. Popo is in blue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we have the TV version, which enables kids at home to get it on cable and exactly.
Kind of rolling off of his question with the case closed and the bringing of the anime to America from Japan. How do you feel about how they take some of the animes and they make them more child-centric? They make them more, like you said, the lollipop used to be a cigarette. I mean, do you think that that's compromising the integrity of the show, or do you think that that's just how they're going to have to do it in the future?
I think that to a degree it is compromising the integrity of the show. It is also, however, something that the Japanese producers ask us to do. Because the only way that we can get them on TV is if they're not offensive to the people at home wanting to show these to their kids. That's the only way. And for you guys, it means that we get to pick up a lot more anime, because if we can get Fullmetal Alchemist on TV, and it's broadcast enough that we make enough money off of that show, we can afford to bring you the Shuffles and the Kitty Graves and the Hitalia, the things that aren't going to hit with a mass audience. So I can understand that it's kind of offensive, but at the same time, it's completely necessary in order to keep anime alive enough for us to keep producing it. And like I said, Funimation's pretty good about making sure that we have a DVD version that will please the anime audience, because they know that their fan base is you guys. They know that you guys are really the lifeblood. And while they're going to try as much as they can to make sure that they hit as broad of an audience as possible, they aren't going to forget you guys entirely, you know? Yeah. Try to give you what you want to.
So I have 2 questions here. One is, how fun was it to play Riza Hawkeye?
Yeah.
Riza was a ton of fun, but you know what? I loved her so much from the stories I heard about the manga that I kept waiting for more of her backstory to come into play. I was really happy that in Brotherhood I got to see a little bit more about it, but I want a whole separate anime about Riza. I want her backstory complete. I don't want her to be a tertiary character who sometimes pops in and is like, oh, I'll save you, Roy.
That is how I feel
Do
about
what?
The alchemy tattoo on her back.
Yeah, exactly. I
That
love
is
that
how I
kind of
feel about Julie.
thing. About Havoc?
Yes,
Yeah.
about Havoc.
Oh, Mike would love it if there was a series about him.
And the second question I have is, you said that sometimes they need to Americanize shows. Well, I know that they've kind of done that down a little bit in recent years, but I mean, they have tons of Japanese words, culture. They have to put translations up on screen or in High School Musical.
Right. Well, Ouran was never intended for a mass market. Ouran was intended for an anime market, which is why they didn't change anything from the original Japanese. And it'll be the same thing with anything that is intrinsically Japanese, like Italia has just too many references. There's no way we can take them out. There's no way we would want to. And they've actually gone that way, even though One Piece could technically have gone more of a mass market route. Instead, they decided to go strictly for anime fans, and they kept in all the references. They're not changing things drastically to Americanize them. They aren't trying to broadcast it anymore. They're just going for you guys. So, they do try to maintain that as much as possible, as long as it will even out in the end, and they will have made money off of the projects, because, it's business. Yeah.
I noticed that Dragon Ball Z Kai Season 1's been out for a while. I noticed on Amazon it's fixing to be re-released. Why is that?
I think they were re-releasing it for Blu-ray. Is that it?
I think so.
I think it came out on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
It came out originally.
Yeah, it was DVD and Blu-ray when it was
It's out again. I went to
I don't know
Amazon.
why they would release a second version unless they're releasing new episodes on the same box.
Well, what's funny is the one that's been out for a while is like it's like $50, but the one that's coming out this Tuesday with along with season 2, it's like $28 for both.
Oh, you know, I don't know much about the marketing side, but I do know that they were having trouble selling Kai because it was so expensive, and at the same time, if you saw them on the shelves, you could get the entire DBZ series for less. Like, it was just cheaper. The Orange Box was so much cheaper.
Is that the reason why they?
So they might be taking things off of it and making it cheaper to print.
Is that the reason why they stopped production on the Blu-ray of just regular Z, the level 1.1?
No, they weren't selling. The Blu-ray. So many people had bought all of the different versions of DBZ that had come out, that when they came out with a new one, nobody was going to rebuy it.
I was.
But well, you're one of the few. But they spent a whole lot of money rebooting that whole series and making the Blu-rays pretty awesome. And if you think about it, when it first came out, it got trimmed down. And then the next time it came out, it got trimmed down on the top. So you were getting like a fraction of the full screen of the whole cell. And in the Blu-ray version of DBZ that came out, they widened it back out, and so you got all of the animation. So, but not enough people knew that. Not enough people knew that it was going to be a big difference.
Well, see, I have the level 1.1 and the other one. I'm not open because I'm not open until they at least come out some more.
Well, they spent a lot of money making it so that it was beautiful. So they would appreciate it. More people would buy it. Yes.
When did Funimation buy the rights to One Piece? Because all I remember growing up as a kid was the 4Kids dub.
Oh,
right. That was pretty recent.
Boo.
When did we buy One Piece? Was it like 5 or 6 years ago?
About 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It was fairly recent. And when we bought it, we started where they left off, and then we went back and redid
Alright,
it.
so that was
Thank
going to
goodness.
be what I asked next, because that's the last time I actually watched One Piece. It kind of turned me off of the show, so I haven't seen the Funimation dub at all. So
Oh yeah, no, it's completely different. It's completely different.
that's good.
And we didn't touch the animation like I did.
I can actually remember being younger. I was pretty young, pretty little. Sorry. It was probably just after Funimation bought One Piece. They started putting it on a different. They took it off of Cartoon Network and things like that. But I watched it. It scared me.
Which scared you?
One Piece. It scared me.
Oh really? You must have been pretty young.
I was. I'm 13 now, and if I was like 7 or 8
Right.
when it came out, I was like,
Yeah, anime gets pretty serious in a way that American animation just does not. It's like we've decided as a culture that our children can't take it. And so they're dumbing down all animation. It's pretty sad. They're dumbing it all down to just the bare bones of story, so that what's really important is either education or pure entertainment, rather than trying to marry the two with an actual plot. And I think that's something that anime still has to offer,
I knew that was gonna
and
come up
it's the only
somewhere.
reason that it continues to come over here is because we can actually see what would be possible if we would just let our children watch things that they're gonna see anyway.
Yeah. I really think that's the truth, because so many people are like, no, my son or daughter can't watch that because it has a little bit of blood in the third scene.
You would be amazed at the things that they make us take out of, like just DBZ Kai, the Y7 version, the version of it that goes to TV that's for children. They make us take out things like, I'm gonna beat you up, or we can't say things like, you jerk. We can't say shut up. Gohan couldn't say shut up to his mom in that one scene where he gets really emotional and he's like, no, shut up. He couldn't say that. We had to take that out.
And to make Mr. Popo blue.
Because they don't want kids saying shut up to their mom. They don't want
Why is
people
Mr. Popo
calling other
blue? Because he's
people
black.
jerks.
Yeah, because
They
it's
want there was no killing, there was no death, there was no I will destroy you. It was just, yeah.
I have not seen. Okay, two things now that you just said that. I have not seen Kai, but how are they getting through the entire arc of Dragon Ball Z without killing anybody? And
Well, I mean, it's DBZ, so nobody really dies anyway. So
no, this is true. This is true. I can't argue this, but
So
okay. And
instead
then
of like, there's parts where people are laying dead, and it's like, oh,
And then,
they're unconscious.
just relating to like because I know you work with Funimation, relating to the TV ability of some of these animes. What do you think the potential is for some of the new stuff that's starting out to actually make it to television, or is it really just going to be straight to the DVDs?
Our one prayer for getting things back on TV, because Cartoon Network stopped taking anime, our one prayer is Toonami. The reboot of Toonami is going to be...
Yeah.
Is there any hope for maybe an all... I mean, is there any hope for like a Funimation channel or something that they could do?
The reason that anime disappeared from TV all of a sudden is because Cartoon Network decided to stop accepting other people's animation and only do animation that they did themselves, because that way they get all of the money from the licensing.
Yeah.
And so Toonami being specifically set aside for other things, that's where if it goes on there and it's successful, then we get back on TV.
Do you think that there's
so
a potential?
watch it. And if anybody has a Nielsen rating box, watch it like 5 times.
Nielsen diary that I'm doing this week.
Watch it. Pray for Toonami.
Is there any hope for an anime network? I mean,
Funimation has a channel, and it's just in certain areas it does well, and in certain areas it gets taken off because nobody's watching it.
Funimation on demand.
The Funimation on demand.
Uh-huh.
Is there any chance they might start offering HD content? Have you heard anything?
I haven't heard anything.
I wish they would.
I know that they love doing that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I would assume so.
Because I mean, the colors are so much brighter.
Yeah. I would assume that that would be something they'd be interested in, but I don't know.
They do offer HD here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Both the free and the premium they have covered.
Sorry. We were talking again about the market thing. Would you say that something like Cowboy Bebop or maybe Gundam Wing would be an example of an anime that isn't? I mean, yes, it's westernized, but it's to the point where like those animes, at least from the people that I've talked to, the things that I've read, are commonly accepted as Evangelion, or like they're animes that people accept and hold to a high standard.
Gundam.
But they kind of transcend the general like anime audience as well.
Yeah, they're kind of the anime that got people into anime a long time ago, and people tend to hold them near and dear to their hearts, but then not branch out after that. So you've got Akira followers who no longer watch anime.
Right.
And it tends to be the action-oriented anime, but it's still a dying industry. I mean, no matter how much of that people like to watch, they're not buying new series, So anything we can do to get the word out.
I think she had her hand up first.
My friend Jess, she is a lot like those people. As soon as they start watching anime, they don't want to watch anything else. Like, they don't want to watch any other. She started with Italian. And then she watched all that, she watched it again, and it got annoying. So, I showed her different animes, like Fullmetal Alchemist and things like that. Well, now she's like, I don't want to get any more shows. I'm lazy, I haven't caught up on them and all this stuff. So I have to start them without her knowing, her come in like the very middle and get her interested in them and all this stuff. And it's a real hassle because I started Sherlock the other day. She went and started hitting her head on the wall.
Any other questions?
Oh yeah, just in general, as far as Funimation is concerned, I know you can't reveal too much down the line, but what are the prospects for some more shoujo-based, the magical girl kind of genre? Because that's the genre that I personally like the most. The Sailor Moon, the wedding, the Pretty Cure, things like that.
Yeah.
Wedding Peach.
What we get is purely based on what acquisitions thinks will do well at the time.
Because I see a lot of, I know there's a lot of Dragon Ball Z, which is great. Dragon Ball Z is great. A lot of the closest thing I've seen so far as of yet has been like the panty and stocking, where they like just the more female based, more pitched toward the female.
Well, I know of
genre.
2 that are recording right now that are more female based. So
because those tend to be my favorites, and I'm just trying to see if maybe there's something I'm really looking out for, or if you're getting the rights to anything really good.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Back.
What was the longest recording section you ever had to go through? Do you remember what you ate after that?
What I ate after it?
You put in a hard day's work.
Nowadays, the longest anybody can record at Funimation is 8 hours because that's how long we run our booths. In the old days, when I first started, and for the first 5-6 years, longer than that, that I worked there, we started at 10 in the morning, and there would be booths that were open from 10 to 6, and then another crew would come in and we'd direct from 6 to 10. So I've definitely had days of 10 to 10 recording. with the lunch break and no dinner break. And I'm sure that there were any number of fast food joints that got my business after that.
What would you suggest for someone trying to get into voice acting?
It's kind of hard for me to answer that because you live in Alabama. So my first suggestion would be moving. You have to move where the action is, otherwise there's nothing to do. I would suggest not to pigeonhole yourself as one type of actress. I've never said that I am an anime actress or a voice actress.
Do acting on stage.
Yeah, that's a great thing to do. And getting involved in student films that if there's a film school around, that's always a good thing to do because it'll give you a reel. So if you do decide to move out to LA, then you would have a reel to be able to show them examples of what you've done. But if you are going to be taken seriously in any way, you need an agent. And you can get an agent in any city for the most part. I'm not saying they're good, but you can get them.
I actually got two questions. Since Toonami is going to be on Adult Swim this time, I haven't looked, but what is Dragon Ball Z Kai going to be on?
I don't know the lineup. I know that the show that I'm working on now that I'm super excited about is going to be there, and I just found that out yesterday, so I'm really happy. But I can't say what. So I don't know. I don't know what else.
Is this like available on Funimation website?
Is it available yet? No.
Well, like
The information about it.
yeah.
Oh, no.
Alright, my second one is, since the Blu-rays of Kai basically are uncut, is it the same sequence where Radix and Goku die, where the beam goes to him? Is it, on the uncut, is it the hole, or is there's no hole there?
And the uncut version of Kai would be exactly what the Japanese did of Kai.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
In your opinion, are there any animes who you feel the American version is better than the Japanese version?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I think it goes back and forth. I think there are times when the Japanese version is probably just so solid that there's no way we could compete because we are dubbing, so it'll never be as free. But then I definitely think there are times when maybe the acting wasn't as solid as the original animation team, and that the plot was really good. So it's nice to be able to redo it over here and do it maybe the way they originally intended. I wouldn't mention anything by name, but yeah, I think that happened.
Actually, based on something like that, would you and a bunch of your voice actor friends love to get a cheap, really badly recorded anime and try and redo it here in the American audience, similar to like they did with Samurai Pizza Cats?
I haven't seen that.
Okay, Samurai
Is that
Pizza...
like the Mystery Science Theater 3000
No.
anime?
Samurai Pizza Cats was a show that, oh god, the people that did Gatchaman, all them, Tatsunoko Group made. It was bought by Saban, but it didn't do very well over in Japan. So when they got it here, they didn't have any scripts. Most of the voice tracks were bad. All they had was basically raw animation. So they sat down, watched the soundless animation, and wrote new scripts. It was basically its own abridged.
Was it a parody?
No,
it wasn't funny.
It was funny. It was in the same vein.
Right.
They did it basically in the same vein as like Animaniacs and SpongeBob and stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
But yeah, would you guys be interested in doing something similar to that?
Absolutely, we'd love to do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The problem with that kind of thing, with the things that we normally buy, is that the Japanese tend to get offended if they're taken in any way in a light way, which is why sometimes you won't see outtakes or deleted anything like that on a DVD. If we don't have that on the DVD, you can guarantee the reason is that the Japanese found it offensive.
The funny thing is, Samurai Pizza Cats actually did better over in Japan than it did originally after it was redone here in the U.S. by the Saban team.
Oh yeah?
Yes.
Yes.
FMA or FMAB?
Because I did so much work on it, FMA. I was way more involved with the project. Way more involved. I haven't even seen all of Fullmetal Butler.
Curiosity, since you also do directing and production part of things. I know about 2 years ago you could walk into, say, Best Buy and have a whole aisle.
Yeah, I remember that, huh?
One small section.
Yeah.
The economy for it, and there's a lot less new releases seem to be coming out. What's the industry, everything like right now? Is it still good, or is everything just
It's evolving. Funimation is still doing well. But obviously, anime industry as a whole is not doing well because so many of them have shut down. I mean, it's down to just us. We're basically it as far as anime in the United States goes. And there are a couple places that do it in LA, but really not that many, and they do more things than that. As far as Best Buy goes, they kind of shifted how we look at producing DVDs. Because they narrowed it down to just that small section, their reason for doing that is that our stuff was so expensive. Because you would get only so many episodes and you would have to pay for the full set for those discs. And so now we're putting 12 episodes on a disc instead of 3 or 4, and you pay the same price. So that completely shifted how we do that, and it's so that we can keep selling in Best Buy. And that's also one of the reasons that it's a smaller section, is because it's not spread out like that anymore. You get half of a season now instead of getting a few episodes. So that was our response to that. And it's also not for sale. There are a couple of other places that used to carry anime and don't anymore, and it just depends on how much people are buying. And anime is one of the most pirated industries. It's where it's so easy to get because it's already coming from another country with more lax standards on piracy. So it's easy to just take it from somebody else in Japan and you watch the sub and you already have the DVD. So piracy is a big issue for us. We need people to buy DVDs or we will go under too. But Funimation, I think, has been brilliant about keeping up with the times. They have things on Hulu, they have things on iTunes, they have streaming episodes
on their website.
Simulcast. They have shows coming out like the day after they come out in Japan, which is unheard of. And they're trying to do that as much as possible and just use ad revenue as a way to make money off of that instead of buying DVDs, which is how people are having to do it all over the place now because of the way the world is.
Put in a good word for selling more Netflix.
For what?
Selling more Netflix.
Oh yeah, that's a big deal.
Netflix. I watch all of my anime on Netflix.
Yeah.
Except for things that I buy.
There's things that I can't watch.
There's definitely more of that to come. Yes.
Okay. So I know that I speak for myself and pretty much everyone in here, but do you yourself feel that you did all the new roles that you're doing in Dragonball Z Kai justice versus the old ones?
I would like to think that I did.
I can speak for myself that you do. I was just wondering what you did for so long.
I loved them and I gave them as much love as I could. I feel like I wouldn't have been ready for Gohan had I not done Luffy first, so I'm glad that I had that opportunity to get used to a boy voice before I went into Gohan. And I'm just so glad that I got to be a part of the DBZ universe before it went away. Because when I came in, it was just after they finished everything. So I was the biggest part of animation, where we get, 40% of our sales is DBZ, where we get all of our revenue, I wasn't anything to do with it. So I'm so glad that I got to be a part of it. But I guess I can't say whether I did it justice or not, but I will say that I enjoyed doing it, and I was glad that I like that Chris let me be a younger Gohan and grow up a little bit. I think that was something that was missing from the original, and I think he felt that way too, that Gohan was never young and then matured before he hit teenage. It was just the same voice and then teenage. And so I liked that we did that evolution, that it felt a little bit more three-dimensional and like there was more of an arc to it. And I'd love to do more of it, so maybe come out more.
Since basically you work for Funimation, are you allowed to do voiceovers for any other corporation? Like, because I know Kyle. I don't know if I can pronounce his last name right. Kyle Herbert.
A-Bear.
Because I know he did Teen Gohan, and now he does like Kiba and Naruto and stuff.
Well, he was in Texas, and now he's in LA. So he works for all the companies in LA.
Does
now.
he?
Yeah.
Okay, so you
and he'll come back and work for us. He's great. He'll come back and work for us whenever anything pops up. But yeah, he's based in LA now, which is why he works for different companies.
I'm a big fan of his. He does awesome.
He's great. Yeah, and he's such a sweet guy. But I am a free agent as far as acting goes. I'm a salaried director with Funimation, but as far as acting goes, I'm free to do whatever I want to do.
When they take the anime in the original Japanese, how do they decide, like, as far as what, like, you as a voice actor, what you're going to say, or how they're going to change what the character says. Like, how do they decide when they see this in Japanese and they're looking at it, you know, probably with English subtitles, what stays, what goes, what needs to be changed? I mean, I know you said about, you know, things that are intrinsically Japanese, they have to change it because it has to be, you know, suited to our palate. But I mean, what stays and what goes?
Process. When it comes over originally from Japan, we get all of the materials. We get the video in, but it doesn't have subs with it. We have our in-house translators who are brilliant, and I think all of whom lived in Japan. And they do the translation for us, and they are so fantastic about giving us little excerpts about, like, if there's an Obon festival, they describe the Obon festival to let us know what it is in the Japanese culture, so we at least know what we're dealing with. Then that translation goes to our head writer, John Bergmeyer, and John sends the series to whichever writers he's decided are going to be best for it. So if it's like taking Panty and Stocking and giving it to Jamie was a no-brainer because Jamie is filthy and hilarious. And so Jamie Markey gets the series, and she and Leah Clark are going to be writing for it.
Will we be getting season 2?
I don't know. They take the translation and the video, and they have to break it down completely by time code. So our script looks like a table. It has the line number, or let me flip it around. It has the line number, the character name for each line, and then the time code where that character begins to speak. So like the frame of a second, the 30th of a second where they open their mouth, that time code goes down to let us know where the cue is going to happen. And then the line as it would be Americanized. So they take the translation, and if it said something stilted like, we go festival, we should enjoy, yes?
Yeah, like the broken
that's the translation. They'll now say,
because I often
the festival, it'll be fun. So they decide what to say.
Because I often wonder, like, I mean, I've seen dubbed and then I've seen subbed, and you watch them, if you watch one and then the other, the subtitles do not match what the voice actors in America are saying. So you're wondering, you know, you're just like, okay, are they changing, like, just how do they decide what stays, what goes, what change?
Okay, so, hang on. So they decide what they're going to say, and they're trying to make it as colloquial as possible, as accessible as possible. So it sounds like somebody who would actually say those words. The thing is, they have to decide early on with the marketing department whether or not that's going to be based for an anime audience or for a mass audience. If it's going to be based for anime audience, then we'll include Obon Festival because you guys like to know a lot about Japanese culture, and so that's something that you would understand. If it's going to be for a more broad-based audience, then we'll just say something like the festival, and just make it so that they can kind of understand it. And they might be a little bit more descriptive. They might also put in more pop culture references if it's going to be humorous, because the only way it's funny to an American audience really is if it's American kind of funny. So that's why you get things like Shin-Chan, which sound nothing like the translation, not at all. And then Hetalia, which sounds a lot like the translation.
Yeah, it's very much the same.
So that's when those decisions are made, when we decide who is going to be going out. And then we also have to include in the writing any kind of reactions that people do. So if they have a little gasp or something like that, even that is marked down. It's an OM gasp, open mouth gasp. And we have code, and it's all very intricate. So it takes a good 15 hours to write a 1-episode script. Yes?
If someone wanted to do like a sound technician for the booth, how would they try to get into that?
We take engineers from engineering schools in the area. And we have one school that we've worked with for a while now. We always get our engineers from there, and they just recently closed down. So actually we're going to be looking to new schools to try to find people. But right now it would be impossible because we're so full up with engineers. We even have a couple waiting in the wings should they want to do it. There are 2 internships at Funimation that I know of that are full right now. But you can always get in touch with people and see. I wouldn't know anything about it though.
Right, so you know how in like some animes, what they say in Japanese would either be shorter or longer than what they say in the mouth would move the same way. And then what you would have to say would be either longer or shorter, and you wouldn't have enough mouth space, like movement. How would you like do that without affecting the emotion that you have like put into the voice?
That's where the scriptwriters come in. Yeah, because if they say something that takes a really long time to say in Japanese, and in English it just doesn't take that long, then we have to come up with more words to put into those, what we call mouth flaps. And in order to do that, you just have to give the writer freedom to know that they can add words as long as they fit within the world of the series, and they're not going to take anything away from the intention of the producers. So that's where we rely on script writers to know what they're doing and give us something to say that sounds natural.
Is it true that voice actors have an incredibly strict contract and like they can't perform some voices at cons and whatnot?
No, I can do whatever voice you want me to do. I can't sell that voice.
Okay.
So I can't put something on a tape saying this is Monkey D. Luffy, I'm going to be King of the Pirates, and then sell it to you. But I can represent it.
What was your first voice to do?
It would be a toss-up between Luffy in One Piece, who kills me on a daily basis, and what was her name? Zealotus in Ragnarok, who I hated, and I will never forgive Tyler for giving me that role. She was a goat demon, and I started recording her at the same time that I started recording Luffy, and her voice sounds like this. And his voice sounds like this! And so I was doing that for 8 hours a day and crying when I went home.
What was the hardest line?
I don't even remember her. She yelled and screamed and whipped things a lot, and I hated her. She was awful. Yeah.
Well, since you're doing voices, since I haven't seen Kai yet, can you give me a little taste of Gohan when he's...
You want really, really young Gohan? Or
Super Saiyan 2.
Oh, okay. Then give me a line.
Oh, since it's Kai, it may have changed from
That's
regular
okay. I'll say a DBZ line.
Oh my God, it's been a long
Wish your wife
time.
happy birthday after.
I'm gonna destroy you.
Huh?
Or I'm gonna destroy you.
I'm gonna
basically.
destroy you?
Yeah.
I'm gonna destroy you!
Awesome.
I had a quick question for you. Any word for it or anything about Dance with the Vampire Bond?
Dance with the Vampire Bond is one of those series that a lot of people took. I think it's pretty fantastic. A lot of people took different names for because it is not something that you really want your kids to see.
Well, yeah, I know originally it was released edited, and then the fans hated it.
Right, and wanted it
so
out.
they put it out unedited. Is there any news as if it's gonna continue? Because that kind of.
I know there's a new manga coming off that it's Diamond Vampire Bond, and it has like some characters like Akira and these other people, but it has we're revolving around new main characters.
The reason I ask is because the manga is continuing.
I haven't heard anything. I don't know how it's sold, and that is always the basis for whether or not we'll get more of it. You know.
Did you do any work on it personally?
I did. I produced it.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Yeah. And that was one of those series that I really, really liked. Hi. How are you doing?
I was just getting a computer cable.
Go for it.
Sorry.
I really, really liked watching it, and I thought that Ian did a fantastic job directing it. He was my new director at the time, and he did a great job. But there are aspects of it that I wish were a little bit different, just coming straight from the Japanese, because I think that it could have hit a broader market, and it can't because of the limitations of the child issues.
Yes. Did you do any voice acting for it?
I did, yeah.
Do you mind if I ask which character?
You know what? I don't even remember her name. Yeah, I don't remember her name.
Was it like the tall girl with the long black hair and glasses?
She had black hair.
The
I think she had big lips.
was the student council president chick?
No, not her. Not her.
Wasn't that girl who was like totally into Akira, like the short hair? Can't remember her name. I have like.
If you know my voice, you'll be able to. Yes.
Hey, sorry about this. Can you say Kamehameha in Gohan's voice?
In Gohan's voice?
Yeah.
In the older Gohan or younger Gohan?
Oh, older Gohan would be cool.
Okay. Except in our version it's Kamehameha, yeah?
Yeah.
Kamehameha!
Yes.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
When you started directing, did you, because obviously people were directing you beforehand, did you kind of take their ideas and go with it, or did you develop your own style with what you were looking for?
I have a definite different style of directing, and I don't know that it's better. I'm very much an actor. I've been an actor all my life, and that is definitely my first love. And directing is probably my least favorite of all of the jobs that I do at Funimation, because I get so into whatever show I'm doing that I nitpick the hell out of it, and then it makes it not as much fun to do. It makes it turn out really good. Like, I really like the stuff that I get, but that means that I'm just a bitch on wheels, sorry, when I'm directing. And I think that I don't allow people as much freedom as I should, and I'm trying to learn how to do that, because I have such a specific idea of what it should sound like as an actor. I tend to go until I get the exact read that I was looking for, and as an actor, that's not the kind of director I like working with. So that is evolving. This is me being very open. That is an evolving aspect of my directing style. I'm pretty hard as a director, honestly. But my stuff turns out great. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking about the Dance of Everyone characters. Could it have been the shapeshifter girl who was like the?
You'll have to watch it. You'll have to watch it and pick it up. Yeah.
Is there any future plans to dub? There was two DBZ specials. One came out a couple years ago called Son Goku and His Friends Return, and episodes of Bardock.
I don't know anything about that. I don't know. It'll probably depend on how well everything else sells.
It was awesome.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll voice whatever they want me to voice.
I remember you being at AWA once, and you were telling about your motivations behind how you got sad Luffy and happy Luffy about $1.
Oh, yeah.
I was wondering if you might be able to clarify that for this one, because that was a good story, I thought.
Oh my gosh, it's been so long, and it's never as funny as it is to me and Mike. Mike is the director of One Piece, and he's worked with me on a lot of different projects. He's very loyal as a director, and he casts me a lot. And we have tons of inside jokes. And one of them is just that Monkey D. Luffy is all about the dollar. All he's looking for his entire life is his dollar. So anytime we see a line come up on the screen and it's supposed to be whatever it's supposed to be, instead we say, "Is that my dollar?" Or, "Hi, I thought you had my dollar. Do you have my dollar?" And just completely replace it with being about the dollar, and it will match his face. Because that's what he is always looking for. And it's never. Yeah, he lost his dollar. It's just an inside joke, and it's how we entertain ourselves in the booth.
Are you going to be doing any voice acting in the new Mass Effect anime?
That has just recently been cast and it hasn't been announced. So
really?
No, I don't know. I would really love it. On the bomb now?
Did you work on, or are you working on Steins Gate?
Steins Gate also has not been announced, so sorry. I won't be able to tell you anything that you already know. Yeah.
This has probably been asked a million times, but I know Kai ends with Cell. Is there any way, possibly, I know if Japan does it, y'all gonna do it, but have you heard anything about Majin Buu?
I haven't heard anything, and I won't hear anything until you guys would already know. You know, I wouldn't be told until it's already announced. So sorry.
I'm sad.
I guarantee you guys, all the things you're asking me, if there's something you don't know and you haven't been able to find out through research, I can't tell you or I don't know.
So we know more than you right now.
But you can ask me questions about my stuff.
So what do you know you can't tell us?
I'm trying to trick you.
Yeah.
Favorite bloopers in the booth?
Just recently, I was playing Luffy, and he was walking through the jungle, and his line was, "Hey, I think we're almost out of the jungle. I see some light up ahead." And instead, Mike had me say, "You know where you are? You're in the jungle, baby. You're gonna die." And the young people will never understand that. Yes. Thank you.
Also, there's a picture I've seen of Luffy online where they're walking in a graveyard, the zombie's coming out of the grave, and Luffy just walks up and shoves him back down in the dirt.
I haven't gotten to that part yet.
But how would you, I mean, there's no actual voice there, but how would you have reacted that way with Luffy if you saw something coming out and you just push it back down?
Luffy's so nonchalant. Anytime he sees something that is new, it's either so awesome, which is always the inappropriate reaction, or it's like, and I guess the zombie didn't face him.
He just walks up and pushes it back. Alchemist puts captions under it. It's like, best reaction to zombie ever.
Yeah. For him, it's either food, it's fun, or it's completely ignorable. Yeah.
What's the longest that you've ever done a scream in the movie, just to see how long?
Oh gosh, I have no reference point for it. There are screams that I've had to do in 2 parts. I've had to scream as long as I could, and then scream again and have them meld the 2 together. And that would have been for, I think I did one for DBZ. And then everything for One Piece I've been able to get in 1 scream. So whatever the longest scream is in there, that would be it. It's gotta hurt. It hurts.
So you want to demonstrate how long you can scream?
No, absolutely not. No.
You hear somebody, security!
It hurts a lot, and you gotta pay me a lot to make me do it.
Yeah.
How are we doing on time? Are we good?
I think like 10 minutes left. Might be wrong.
7 minutes? Is that right? Or, yeah.
You should get a picture with, you should hug him, and then get a picture with her, and let her hug me.
That's weird.
No, you wouldn't understand.
You're a weird girl.
No, it's not weird, it's the slut button.
Oh, yeah, are you a slut?
Well,
I'm the slut. I've been passing this button around since yesterday.
The button says the next person who hugs me gets this button.
The Russia cosplayer. I said I hugged him and tried to give him my button, and then they hugged each other.
You should all hug him at the same time and confuse him.
And he started calling it slut button.
Are there any scenes in voice acting that really allow for improvisation?
Yeah, there's a lot of times when we're doing things basically in the background, and the writer's not always going to write exactly what you're going to be saying if you're just talking in the background. So if you ever catch a party scene, chances are whatever people are saying in the background is completely improv. That happened in Summer Wars, that happened, and that happened in One Piece, and I mean, tons of shows, so yeah.
What is Summer Wars about? I've heard people tell me.
Summer Wars is a brilliant movie. That's really, really fantastic, and you should totally watch it. But I don't want to ruin it by telling you actually what it's about. Yeah.
This is a very old topic, and a lot of people don't like it. But I just want to know from your opinion, and Chris, Sean, Kyle's, did y'all like Evolution?
Evolution?
Dragonball Evolution. Did y'all
the movie?
Yeah, the live action.
I never saw it.
You never saw it?
No.
You don't.
Better off that way.
For you.
I know.
I wish I could go back in time and erase it.
I'm sad that they didn't have Chris do it. Yes, in the back.
Back on the One Piece topic, I know you talked about how it is voice acting for the anime, but you worked on Unlimited Adventure, right? How different is it voice acting for a game when you don't always...
I do a bunch of different games, and it's completely different when we're doing a game like that, or like Fullmetal Alchemist, which is, sorry, I keep trying to see her. If we're doing something that is from Japan, and we're actually dubbing it, then it's a lot more like anime, and what usually happens is they'll play us a sound file, the original. You can determine.
I'm behind all this whole
Holy crap, there's somebody up there.
They'll play us the original sound file in Japanese, and then our job is to make it as long or shorter than that file. That's our whole job. If it goes even 1 frame over, then they can't use it. So that's a whole different story than actual video game voice acting. And actual video game voice acting, like what I did in Borderlands, is really fun and free, and they give you a script, and then you get to come up with the timing, you get to come up with your character, and that is fantastic. That's something that's every anime actor loves to go do video games, because it's like, oh, I don't have to match flaps, I get to do whatever I want. It's really exciting. Yes.
Whoa. I didn't know you did voices for Borderlands. What did you do?
Yeah, I play Lilith and Tannis, Patricia Tannis. And in the new Borderlands 2, there's some DLC where I play another fun character.
Yay.
Yes.
What do you think of the trend in some Western animation to at least in some way influenced by anime? Like Avatar has somewhat of an anime style to it, not totally, but.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. I mean, I love the anime style, so I think anything that Americans can do to emulate it is fun. I do think that's going a lot the other direction, though. If you look at like Panty and Stocking, you'll see that Japan is doing a lot of imitating American animation. So I find it interesting that they both trade off so much.
Has there ever been a time where you've actually broken your voice doing a part?
Yeah, I mean, I've certainly lost my voice screaming my heart out. The worst thing that happened, though, was that I was, what was I working on? It was clothes? No, it was something, and I had this big scream, and I strained my diaphragm. I felt this pop, and it was kind of stuck in like a clench or a Charlie horse sort of thing, and I had to go home, and I couldn't stand up straight for a while.
Wow.
So, yeah.
You really broke your voice on that one.
Yes.
Speaking about kitty grade, would there be, do Funimation ever do the Attack of the Kitty Grade series?
I would love that. I don't know why they haven't picked it up yet, actually, because I think Kitty Grade sold pretty well. So I would be surprised if we didn't get that eventually, but I haven't heard anything about it. I would love to do that. Yes.
What would be, I guess, your favorite anime outside of Funimation?
Outside of Funimation? You know what? Honestly, to be completely honest, I watch so much anime on a day-to-day basis. I mean, we're talking hours of anime. I don't watch anime when I go home. So I haven't really seen anything outside other than Sailor Moon, which I think is a lot of fun. And I would love it if Funimation got it, but it was back when dubs were not awesome.
Yeah.
So I guess the closest I can come to telling you an anime outside of Funimation would be any Miyazaki film. I love Miyazaki, so Spirited Away is my favorite outside of Funimation, I guess. But I watch TV, regular TV when I go home. I have 26 episodes of anime to watch this weekend. That's my job this weekend. Yeah.
How does making puns work? Like, there's so many good puns.
Oh, so hard.
It doesn't even make sense. Like, I can't even think of how it would turn, like, cat jokes about, like, using meow and stuff.
It is
doesn't make
so
sense.
hard. And the hardest thing is what happened. Can you guys close that door? The hardest thing is what happened in Kodacha. They would have a lot of puns, a lot of idioms in Japan, but they would animate them. So there'd be like a unicorn on fire jumping over a pickle, and you have to find some way to make that joke make sense within the plot and for an American audience, and there is no freaking way to do it. It's just too hard. I made that up entirely. It's just something. It's just an example of how out there it would be. It's something that we don't have in American idioms. So that's really hard. You have to make the choice. Either you come up with a pun that is similar in English, or you go straight out with the pun in Japanese and explain it in a subtitle.
How fun was it to play Mama? Since we're talking about it. I mean, you had a squirrel in your hair.
I know, Maru was awesome. Mama was one of my favorite characters eventually, but when she first started out, I hated her. For the first few episodes, she confused the crap out of me. She was so hard. In fact, I didn't cast myself originally. I cast another lady, and she didn't work out. Then I cast another lady, and she didn't work out because I couldn't explain to them what was needed because it's so Japanese. She's just so Japanese. We don't have anything like that in America. So I had to finally figure out what exactly it was that I wanted, and the only way I figured out was I did it. So yeah, she was rough. Yeah.
What was your favorite Annie's cartoon?
Does She-Ra count?
Yes.
Yes.
She-Ra. She-Ra's my favorite cartoon ever, so. I had 4 minutes? Oh, it's 4 o'clock. Oh, thank you. Okay. Well, I have another panel with Chris at, is it 7:30, I think? So I will see you. It's 5? Oh, okay, great. So in just 1 hour. So I'll see you guys there. Thank you very much.
See you.